DreamHack Masters Las Vegas is brought to you by Asus, Republic of Gamers, HyperX, Monster Energy, live at MGM Grand.
Cash me outside because we've got a decider between two teams desperate to make it into the playoffs. It's Cloud9, it's NIP. NIP got absolutely blown out in the first game, and then they returned serve against Cloud9 in pretty much the same fashion, 16-2 and then 16-6.
Yeah, the maps haven't been great. It's one of the first series today to actually go to 3 maps, so this one should be more exciting. It's going to be the case where it should be like maybe close to 30 rounds, some high-octane moments perhaps. Haven't really had anything too nuts going on in the first 2 maps so far. This is why one team getting rolled over and then giving up. Cloud9 had a bit of a comeback, 6 rounds in a row. That's pretty much all they got in their entire train outing. So I'm hoping Cash is going to be a good one. And obviously we said it before, we said it a few times now. This used to be NIP's absolute undisputed best map, and recently been a little bit of their nemesis.
It's just polar opposites, because last year I think in Pro League they played it 8 times and they won 6. They're usually very good against top opponents on it. It's these 2 games, 2 of the most important games as well, where they get blown out by teams that shouldn't. I mean, flip sides, look, they're in contention at all times. They're an upset team in that way. But Vega, I mean, both those maps were just abysmal and need to be erased from history of the minds of NIP fans everywhere. But unfortunately, it's stained in there and you'll have nightmares for the rest of your life.
It's been a rough few months for NIP. And some retribution here in DreamHack Masters Las Vegas. How have you enjoyed Vegas so far, Matt?
It's been good. The Dune Buggies was a good fun. I've not really left the MGM Grand much. These super hotels, for anyone who knows, basically are their own ecosystem. You don't really need to leave. But tonight I plan on walking the strip, potentially.
Yeah, that's so weird, isn't it? Like, you don't actually have to leave a single building. You've got everything you possibly need. That's the idea. They've got it. There's no windows everywhere, so you can actually have no idea what time it is.
Yeah, in the casinos. No, in the casinos, it's all the same light all day long, same atmosphere.
Semler said something funny to me yesterday. He's like, it's like Disneyland for adults.
Yeah,
it's Las Vegas.
That's accurate.
And I was like, yeah,
that's 100% accurate.
Really good.
You can go out in the jungle, or the desert, excuse me, and do, like, supercar experience, the dune buggies. You can jump off the stratosphere, you can shoot guns, and then you can just blow your life away at a casino table, and that's family business.
Well, I'm having a lot of fun.
Really just like Disneyland.
NIP, of on the CT side of Cash, of course, Cloud9 on the T side. 1 smoke, 2 flashbangs, and we'll see what kind of strategy they're going to be deploying in this round. Stewie holding towards middle, just jamming a little bit of information there. And it looks like an A-sided attack, potentially. Just 1 player holding towards B storage. That's going to be nothing, just watching for any CT aggression here. Nothing really coming in just yet. Pit and Get Right looking towards A from Highway. And Exist patrolling middle by himself. Freiburg and Forrest, of course, that famous tag team duo who are very good towards the B side.
Exist spotting from far toward the drop position. Shroud automatic, Stewie, Skadoodle all heading over towards Squeaky. Is this your strategy? Have you gone and brainwashed every team to do the 4-door?
I've been telling them, you've got to do this strategy. You've got to win every time. 4-door.
We never used to see it, and now it's like all the time.
To be fair, nothing. He's got a smoke in hand. And there's the smoke towards Highway map. It's happening.
Smoke out, but Exist pushes forward. Get Right tries to do the same, can't find the kills. Pith has already fallen down. And Get Right with a slight gap in the smoke, can't spot the head in time, and realizes it after it's disappeared and dissolved. So retake game now in effect. Freiburg, the one with the kit. He's playing toward Truck with Exist. Forrest inching Highway behind Get Right as Exist peeks up toward the top of Catwalk as well. Get Right is searching patiently to try and find one. Now gets information. Stewie's in behind the forklift, wraps around, perfect shot, good precision. Tries to do the same and toward the squeaky door where Skadoodle's playing. This allows an advancement inside of the site. Freiburg, he's the one with the kit, tries to go in on the smoke, and his teammates down, they quickly find him.
There it is. 4-door, 6% of the time, it works every time. And this time for Cloud9, works out perfectly. Get out the door, find that first frag. The retake on the A-bomb side from NIP, not successful. Find a couple of frags there, but the crossfires had already been set up, and Cloud9 run away with it. 1-0 in their favor. And Tim keeps changing his name. What is it?
I think what it is, it's not him changing it. He probably has it set to Tim, but the config they're running has it known as automatic because the pro teams run the configs with... I don't know if DreamHack's doing it through ESEA, but then it's fighting each other. I don't think he's changing it actively like that. I think there's something in a script or something.
Anyway, it's going to be...
I don't know how that all works, but you know what I mean.
We've explained this a lot of times recently. The meta's kind of shifting to a way where CTs are not forced back in the second round nearly as much as they used to. It seems like they're focusing more on having the AWPs and the grenades to fuse kids. And normally we describe that. You normally do that when you have this huge lead. But it's actually getting to the place now where, regardless if it's the first half, you're actually going to be doing that anyway. So it's actually quite interesting to see how the game's shifting in that matter. But 4 players towards the A-bomb site, and it was where Cloud9 should be ending up considering their positions right now. So a chance for NIP to do something with these slightly upgraded pistols.
I use the word script and everyone's quoting me on that. What I mean is it's probably an E-bot script that's trying to switch his name back. Lovely door shot from Pith. That's a gun grab, but second presence from Skadoodle will take the AK back out of their hands. So they don't have as much to work with. They've still got their accuracy, and Forrest certainly does as he finds one. Traded back, so both kills traded and now offset. Nothing in Skadoodle getting kills unanswered as Freiburg tries to sit where he can with a deagle and hope for the best. Just hope.
Sometimes that's all you can do. Freiburg Desert Eagle towards Highway, lands a lovely shot there on nothing. Now this is possible. Skadoodle with 3 kills in total. Looking to find a 4th here, and it should be happening. Freiburg goes down to 1 HP. There's a little bit more damage there, but it's going to be Skadoodle to find that 4th frag. And the coach looking happy there. Valens. He's obviously one of the newer additions to the Cloud9 organization. He was a professional player at one point as well. What was the team he played for? Was it TSM?
TSM for a bit.
Right, yeah.
And there was another as well that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah. It's the first time they've already had a proper coach, I guess. They had Stunner for a long time, not necessarily known as a ex-pro, like he's the kind of manager.
The one thing Stunner would have brought over time, because he was with them for something like 2.5 years. Regime,
yeah.
Oh, good spray down from Skadoodle as they try and overwhelm and push out. Switches to the pistol, but that's going to call the sound and sirens for his teammates to rotate into that position. The one thing Stunner would have had was also the mental aspects.
Exactly.
He would have known how they think, how their behaviorisms are. He would have been able to calm them down. Not strat call, but still have a presence behind them.
Yeah, indeed. Well then, round number 4 comes in. It is going to be 3-0 for Cloud9. Good way to kick things off on the 3rd map here, especially on the T side of Cash. They're going to be. This is certainly a bonus round. 2 Mac 10s going into round number 4 here. Normally suggest something a little bit faster, and it's going to be sending 5 players towards B storage. He just goes for a straight up rush here. Won't necessarily commit just yet. No orb for the CT, so Freiburg by himself, crossed by the vents, so he can have a quick rotation, but it's looking promising. We call this a contact play. You just go into the close as you can to the bomb site and surprise any CT20 on the other side. And here we go. Molotov, and Freiburg is expecting this. He drops a smoke, flashbang as well. He's going to have to be by himself for a little bit here. Can't find the first frag. The Mac 10 takes him down.
Smoke out. Stewie tries to fire up toward heaven with the Mac 10. Can't find a shot, but these AKs are wreaking havoc. They'll lose 1. Automatic going down is going to leave this to 2 the Mac 10s to try and do work. Pith rotating back around, likely to go vent. They haven't got a plant yet. It just now comes in. And Get Right will lead the charge through the vent because he's already got that position covered off.
Might have to save her.
It's a tough call. Get Right's the only one with the kid. He's in. He's going for it. Downed already. And that should be the call to save. But Pith, he follows up. Knows he can at least trade back on Get Right. It's Stewie to push back in on top of him and Exist. Perhaps a little bit late from what could have been 3 guns saved is going to save a single M4.
Well, there it is. That's a huge round McLennan pickup. The reason I call it a bonus round, if you're a new viewer, it's taking the lesser weaponry you're using in the anti-ecos in the 2nd and 3rd round into what we call the gun round. That's when you have the AWPs, the rifles. Keeping those SMGs means you know the CD's always going to be limited after losing the pistol, especially if they force into the 2nd round, which we already discussed. Sometimes when I have head armor, it makes the Mac 10 certainly viable. You want to do something nice and fast, surprise them, maybe like a B-rush, like we just saw from Cloud9. Simple execution, and just try to get in and overwhelm any defending CTs. It works out very nicely there for Cloud9. They get the 4-0, and at this point, looking very likely to go to 5 rounds because NIP only saved 1 rifle. Don't really have enough to justify forcing around it. So maybe there's some upgraded pistols here, Desert Eagles, PD50s. They've got 4 smokes, make it 5 now. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with those. Obviously, it's designed to block off the choke points like this at the start of the round. Pit drops his towards main entrance to mid. And normally you want to be boosting up towards mid when you know it's going to be an eco like this. You want to get some mid control coming in. I see some damage being inflicted to Get Right there. Dancing in front of those bullets. They're going to boost 1 player up. That's going to be Exist with the weapon. He's the only player with the M4A4 in hand.
Shroud over the boost as well is starting to look toward the bags, but it's not fortified by any defensive position. It's forced smoked off at Z connector, and Freiburg inside of the B side play apart from each other with the boost, as you mentioned as well. And that gun, with them going over toward B, might be saved into the next round.
Yeah.
If they commit, bomb's still back toward Big Garage, and Automatic's also checking Highway. Pulls Forest and Pith back over toward B. Skadoodle will start the rotation. Bomb in hand, B it is. Forest behind the boxes, will wait for a chance to peek. Automatic gets the first kill on to Get Right. Pith, he's gonna let them go right by, and the smoke pop out. Surprise them, but only for one. Shroud is there, so good positioning again for trades by Cloud9. And it will be Exist just sitting back and saying, I'll keep this M4 at least another round longer.
Absolutely. No chance of doing anything with this round. 4 versus 1, he's got an M4, no kit, no nades. So trying to keep the money a little bit stronger. There'll be a maximum loss minus next round, so he can actually save this M4, drop a weapon over to someone like Freiburg, who's just shy of 2k. That makes sense, and just try and balance the books in that fashion if he can save the weapon. But Cloud9 might go for a little hunt there. You can see there is one player towards middle. It's Automatic watching towards the mid entrance there, but Exist can actually be towards A storage. Just holding up. He's looking at the scoreboard for you. It is quite early on, of course, but Exist 1-3, Freiburg 1-5. Pitt, he's got 3 kills, leading the charge on Cloud9 side. Skadoodle, Matt, he's been really good. In the maps they've been winning, like that initial Oak Cobble map, he was really lights out.
I would agree with that. He's 9-2 here, 9-1-2. Looking very sharp, and it becomes an issue on the T side. He's looking sharp. Wait until he gets to the CT if he can keep that up for him.
Well then,
5-0 Cloud9.
Lots of money available for Stewie, right? But he's in Mac 10. He's got just under 10 grand.
Just Stewie thinks.
So we're going to see, maybe we should follow him and see what he's got up his sleeve here. He's going to be running out maybe towards B, getting that checker room nice and close range, just try and be a nuisance. It's not like he can do anything long range, but there he goes. Molotovs towards checkers. He's just going to run for a smoke here and hope for the best. It's a very interesting decision to go for Mac 10 at this sort of stage as well. It's not like you need to save that much money. Mac 10. Amazing against the armored players. Here we go. He's going to be pushing it through the smoke. Does some damage. Looking for the kill. Actually going to nail it as well. Very well done by Stu. He should be going down at this point. There's another player on the B side, but he's covered up by smoke. Wow.
Ooh, Stewie. That's great shot on Freiburg. That opens the sight. Cloud9 looking like they could go 6-0.
Yeah, I think you have to save at this point for an IP. You've lost all the B players, and you know the bomb's down. They have all the crossfires. You're going to have to take this one at the chin, I would say. Maybe they'll see what's available to them. Get Right. He's actually in towards checkers still. This could be a little bit of a ninja moment.
I was thinking that as well. So long as he stays patient, he's got to go, and they're still holding off the site. That's going to be Exist getting nothing. Still leaves Get Right a bit of a chance to spot up yet another, but they spotted him in turn from Skadoodle at B main. So ninja chance gone. What he can do is hold a lot of people on the site. He gets one and goes down. It's all on a Pith, and he's running with the AWP. Oh, is he going to get caught? Stewie. He's picked up an AK. Doesn't quite get out to tree fast enough for Pith to get in towards CT, but it doesn't matter. He repeaks.
That's been another eco. Oh, actually, to be fair, Exist has a lot more money. Residual cash left over. He's got almost 8 grand, so they could buy into this if they wanted to. Wouldn't be the best, but he can drop one weapon. 6-0 down. That was a lovely play. Mac 10, we questioned the decision. He pushes through the smoke there, gets nice and close range. Flashbangs are decent. The CTs run back and retreat, and Freiburg drops the smoke, and he would have actually taken him down if he didn't actually have that smoke in front of him and actually cost him his life as Stewie picks up the M4 from his fallen teammate Forest, and they have forced into this NIP. It's actually going to be 3 UMPs, 2 M4s. This is getting desperate once again. They haven't turned up at all, and a huge advantage now for Cloud9. As it's round number 7 here. Against the SMG buy from NIP.
Skadoodle waiting inside of the A main position. No boost up just yet. With Automatic heading down the hallway. Nothing starts to push in toward B tunnels as well. It's Exist and Pith playing together for information and support on Highway. That leaves Get Right alone inside of the A side, but Exist can easily transfer. But it's steady as she goes, 1:03.
Yeah, well, just trying to work out what kind of buy they're up against for now. Flush the CDs out, drop those Molotovs and the key choke points towards middle. Pitts will be challenged at this point. He's only got the M4. He does have backup from Exist. They will be playing together in the same position. One above the white box, one beneath it. And we'll see whether they can challenge here. The flashes start to come in. No one heavily committing just yet. Cloud9 are going to start dropping down from the boost position, and this kill means everything, and Pitt gets it. It's actually going to be Exist, and he finds 2, make it 3. Been a rough series for him so far, but this is a big time for him to actually arrive with a triple kill there.
Much needed round as well. Shroud limited does find Freiburg back, but Forrest walks out and takes both down. 6-1 NIP and 3 players staying alive, all of which have now gotten rifles. The AK picked up by Forrest after his work on the UMP.
Yeah, that's a rough buy. 3 UMPs and 2 M4s, and it's the M4s doing the majority of the work. Exist primarily with the spray down there to get 3, funnel them back towards B, and Forrest can finish things off with the SMG himself. So good work, and certainly some reset potential here. Actually quite a massive one. NIP need to get this round. They need to get a couple in a row now just to secure their financial situation and not have to face a double eco after picking up their first round.
It's automatic. Smoke that's in front will slow down slightly to allow Shroud to try and spray through door, but Get Right sees the tracers and lines it up in return. Look at the bullet holes for him. He's taking a massive amount of damage, but it doesn't matter. It's the first pick to NIP, and Get Right's going to push through on this. Catches Stewie. Didn't expect him at all to go through the door that was never even open to begin with. Finds him with a nade out, and it's a 2-man advantage on Get Right's bold play.
Oh, 5 and 3. Get Right down to 15 HP, but managing to stay alive for now. He'll still be posted up in towards that squeaky door room, and this is what we like to see on Cash. It gives CT's options at the start of the round to do plays like this and Get Right. This relentless right now. Another headshot towards Automatic, but Skadoodle does answer back with an AWP headshot towards Pit. But it's Skadoodle and nothing now remaining. And they're so scared of this squeaky door position. They don't really want to walk on this corner, but nothing has to at this point. Take a deep breath and see if Get Right's still there. He actually has fallen back. Manages to retrieve the bomb, and nothing with the wall bang there. Set down Get Right. This is still possible.
Get Right, who had the wall bang on the same door to begin with, gets walled out, taken down, exists, playing inside of the site, will now transfer over toward Quad. It brings Forrest and Freiburg closer, but a smoke toward Highway doesn't even matter. Exist walks out from Quad and finds it. So despite this fact, his 2 teammates didn't have much vision to work with. He still gets the job done. Nothing is forced back with bomb. 22 seconds. He does not make it to B at this point. He's going to try it. I don't think he can through vents. Perhaps is his best chance.
That's going to be so... No, I don't think he has time. I think he knows it about now. Oh,
he's going to go 8-7-6. He's got to make it right now.
Wow.
Just barely does. That is cutting it close. I thought he was going to wrap back through a main to begin with. And nothing now has a chance because they're going to be forced in on the rotation. And Forrest, he starts off. Exist will get toward the vents. And nothing's going to burrow his way into the corner. I can't see if he's inside of the checker room or not. No, yeah, he just walked through it and goes to the corner on the inside, so he'll hear them drop out. Problem is that Exist will drop first, and Freiburg will follow suit. So he's got to hit both. Finds the first right away, sprays down, reads it well, nothing, has 2. It's the immediate face from Forrest, and he nearly gets the clutch back as well.
Can you imagine if he steals that round away from NIP? The commitment to go all the way back towards B, planting with half a second to spare. Double spread under the vents, but Forrest... he keeps NIP alive. We said that was a big round, and still plenty of money for Cloud9. That's big reset potential there for Cloud9. If they'd taken that one, that would have been a double eco situation. Here's Get Right doing phenomenal work at the start of the round. Found 3 kills in total after pushing that squeaky door. It was an absolute thorn in their side, but it almost fell apart. Exist brings out the auto sniper. An interesting decision.
He's the one that always loves to do it, isn't it? We talk about Get Right's success on it, but Exist brings it up far more commonly.
Yeah. We'll see whether it's the correct decision here. No AWP available, just that auto sniper. 5 AKs. Forrest getting a little bit more aggressive towards B this time. And we're going with some potential mid control as we push through the smoke. Of course, Stewie leading the charge there. Smoking off towards Connector and Highway as well. Blocks the vision. Molotov to flush down his CT's waiting towards Sandbag. And actually committing quite quickly here. And Exist gets the first frag and gets damage on the second as well.
Looked like he got the second, but it doesn't matter. It's effective. Molotov off now. There is a player that made it forward to the Molotov, so Pitt's position... I take that back. Okay, nothing didn't make... It looked like that went deeper, but either way, Pitt's position was wise because he gets 1 kill. Skadoodle, that'll get Right. Bound to 2 versus 2 because he's followed that up. Skadoodle looking good on the rifle as much as the AWP. Nice nade from Freiburg. Feet spotted going up the ladder. Shroud tries to get the headshot when he reaches the top. That forces the man back down. And Freiburg will play it inside of the site. And all of this going on, Forrest, oh, that smoke's almost perfect because he comes out the squeaky door. Doesn't have vision anymore toward Quad. They're going to play it together. Good read from Shroud. Knows he going above, but doesn't read Forrest wrapping around. Second time he's had to win a one-on-one.
Yeah, stepping up in these difficult situations. It's always him that seems to be left. He's obviously the B player as well. And he comes in, recovers the auto sniper, and Shroud can't close it out. 3 in a row now for an IP. Money's still strong there for Cloud9. They keep going down to these 1v1s. They know if this win 1 round here on the T side, they're going to break NIP. So they're just trying to keep the rounds as close as possible. Too many clutch situations here. And this is getting more exciting now. I'm actually having these really close rounds and no one's particularly running away with it. NIP closing the gap. We knew the third map was going to be better than the first 2. So hopefully it sets us up for, again, that goes the full distance.
Exist waiting with his clickety boom, waiting at mid to try and spot over top a drop. Play again from Cloud9. Getting a game on our hands, Henry. We're finally building into it. Map 3. Decider for who gets into the Garden Arena. An illustrious place in itself. I've seen some of the stage setup, and I think everyone's going to be in for a pleasant surprise when they discover its layout.
I want to keep it as a surprise for myself. I'm not going to go in there until tomorrow.
Oh, really? Well, you will be surprised. Get right. Peeks quickly toward A main. It's Pith that wants to get aggressive. Inside of the smoke toward the door. He's got a UMP and Exist. He has this exact weapon, which also had a sound update that we don't hear quite so commonly, but rattling shots from the truck. It's in on Pith. They're touching each other. Smoke gone. Pith realizes it first, immediately upgrades to the AK, snaps around, and he finds his second. It's a clean sweep for NIP.
Indeed, and they get 4 rounds in a row. No bomb planted this time. Money's still available, Cloud9. They had such a dominant lead at 1 point, 6-0 up. Timeout from Stewie. So they're just going to try and work out what's going wrong here. Why are we not actually finding any frags in these A executions? And it's going to be Pitt stepping up in that previous round. Like you said, UMP kill gets the AK. And it's a solid A hold. 4 in a row now for NIP. Still going to be wielding the auto sniper in the hands of Exist. He's got a very good spawn this round, going to number 11 as well. Pretty much the best spawn he can get on this map. Means if he wanted to, he could push towards A main. That's normally more of an AWP role. I wouldn't say it's as beneficial doing that with the auto sniper. You want to have like tight angles and wallbang potential, spamming the smoke. That's when the auto sniper comes into its own. It's not really as effective to get a quick pick, you know, like it's not a one-shot kill unless you get the headshot. But here we go, Cloud9. They haven't purchased yet, but they have got around 5k average, so certainly a buy available for them. If you're not aware of the timeout rules here, coaches can talk throughout the game. It's not like the Valve rules right now. You get 1 2-minute pause per map. You can't, not per half, just in one map. So I'll be using this time as well to kind of just keep morale up. Doing 6-0 down, NIP have done a very good job to get back into this game. 4 in a row now. Basically, thanks to that man who screamed right there, Forest winning 2 or 3 clutches in a row.
Yep. So 11th round about to begin. Cash turning out to be what we would have hoped in a best-of-3 series, that we get some contention on one of the maps. Nothing.
Almost
nearly made that work.
That would have been so sick. The fact it looked like he had no time left, and he gets on the bomb site on the 4-second mark. You need to have 4 on the board at the top to actually get the bomb down. He does it like literally no time to spare at all, and bomb goes down, gets the double kill in vents, and could have been such a nightmare for NIP. That'd have been the harsh reset as well. Wasn't meant to be. Would have been glorious if he pulled it off.
You and I have yet to cast, Inferno.
I know.
And I know you're bummed by this.
I know. It's my favorite map ever in CS for all iterations, and I'm so hyped to actually get going with it. It took us a while with Nuke as well to actually get that going, and I'll see whether we get to see more Inferno. We've seen it a couple of times this tournament. We are back into it. Number 11. 4 AKs come out. 1 Galil. Skadoodle. He'll be on the lesser weapon here. And like I said, Exist had that great spawn. He's changing things up. He's going towards B this time. So Freiburg or Forest we swapped out. It will indeed be Freiburg. He's playing towards middle. And Forest getting a little bit aggressive here. So does he decide to push any further? He's just going to be baited in by Exist. The idea, he'll sit on that box. Once the smoke goes down, Exist will show his hand, spam a few bullets perhaps, and maybe bait out some utility and hope that they walk into the crosshair of Forest.
Could work out to perfection. Forest is going to peek a sliver of a gap to see if they've crossed inside of Toxic. They have, but he won't spot it. This crossfire is very powerful with that gun, especially if he just holds them stationary and gets Forest in position. He's getting antsy though and relocating. That might bring Forest off the box and in behind it instead, but thus far he stays. Lots of utility being deployed inside of B. Exist needs to know, and he does. He does spray down into a gap, finds Shroud. Forest follows it up, and they come out of vents, and that surprises them. They weren't ready for it. As such, they go down, traded back. Freiburg playing from heaven, spotted with a shoulder bait, is going to take the shots back in, but get taken down by Automatic, bringing the bomb back into play, back into the site. And planted, almost toward default. Spots the Molotov, hears it, perhaps even coming toward him, and relocates. That makes the post plant a lot more difficult though, because you cannot see it from B main. So Stewie has to sit and babysit the bomb. Pyth above at heaven, Get Right from tree. Pyth will lead in. Try and get the information as Get Right looks far left in toward Checkers. A couple bait shots out from the AK to try and pull his opponents into the opening, and Get Right finds Stewie. That's bomb covered off. Get Right can get on this. He should know that he can fully get on the defuse. He's going to do so right now, and it doesn't even matter. Pyth finds the kill.
Well recovered there by NIP. Looking like it was going to fall apart. That initial crossfire we saw, the auto sniper and Forrest baited in. Works to perfection, but then all of a sudden, it's going to be that vent attack from the side that allows to get back onto the water bomb side there. And unfortunately, the retake comes in. Very strong stuff from NIP. I think that's 5 rounds in a row now. So maximum loss bonus coming in with the bomb going down as well. Means that we can certainly buy into this round. Cloud9 still have the lead for now, but slipping away from them. And the auto sniper doing some big work here.
Big work indeed for Exist, who has it yet again to work with as they claw back the deficit from 6-4 to 6-5. Forrest. Good shot from Nothing, who walks through a smoke, tries to pop up, realizes the wrong place to be. Pyth, meanwhile, over toward the A side is an 80. He's going to lob out toward Squeaky Doorway. Remember, it's the only door of all of them that that doesn't blow up or have holes bust through it. Why do you think that is, Henry?
I guess it's the way it's designed. This is not a Valve-made map. This is made by Volcano on their phone, right? So they wanted to have it their way.
Yeah, that is their way. I was thinking it was because of the material composite. Perhaps there was some Kevlar in there. Maybe it was really heavy and fortified. Get Right looks toward mid. I like that it doesn't blow up. I think it adds more of a dynamic. That door is always a factor. Whereas as soon as it's blown out, it's just a gaping entryway. 1 HP. Tag down as Exist, but that baits them in. And Pyth, good positioning, finds 2 backs, changes his angle, closes out the round as well. We go 6-6. Pyth is quietly going about business as well now because he sits with 9 kills, just 2 back of Get Right on 11.
Well, there it is, tying things up. It was 6 rounds in a row for Cloud9. NIP returned the favor, and it's going to be 6-6. And nice little replay of Forrest. Doing some decent work there. And Pyth, well, a good job there with the upper angle. You could see not really too much challenging him, wasn't really flashed. No one challenging from Squeaky, just mows them down 1 by 1. And a chant down for NIP as they finally break the economy, which is so strong for Cloud9 for so long. It's going to be Tech9's Deagles, a few smokes, maybe another execution, but Get Right, he'll be playing in front of the smokes, you can see right now. Listening out for any sort of sound cues here. They're trying to do some damage through the door, and Get Right could have pushed through there. Flashes in, so that's better over and falls back.
Smokes to land at the top of Highway. Nothing's going to charge in. Tech9 in hand. Stewie's found 1, falls out, and then it's Pyth that runs around trying to evade the players inside of the site, but it's out of the frying pan and into the fire because when he wraps in, he just gets greeted by a ton of Cloud9 players. Shroud now behind Forklift as well as the lineup, but Freiburg's going to win that exchange, giving the advantage heavily to NIP. Good pick from Skadoodle to try and keep it in contention, but Forrest sneaks in from A main, and another round going to the counter-terrorists.
Yeah, well, Cloud9 was a partial buy from them, going for their execution. The bomb's planted to get 3 kills. That's about as good as you'd hope for. And we'll see whether they can get back into this one. Now, 7 rounds in a row now. NIP looking very dominant as we enter round number 14. The latter stages of the first half. No AWP here for NIP. We did mention this, Matt, a few times watching NIP, their CT side throughout this tournament. The AWP and CT looked pretty poor, and they haven't dropped it once here on Cash, which is interesting. The auto sniper, pretty unorthodox weapon. We don't see it as much as we used to, and that's the only sniper rifle they've actually brought to the table so far. So maybe that's for the best.
Maybe. We'll see. Let's Get Right inside of the site. Look to get information early inside of A main, but was unable to do so. Has to back away. He'll go in behind the crate on A side itself and stay put. Not a lot being done at Boost so far in this half. We've only got 2 rounds left to conclude. As I say that, they'll be about as many times boosted for the CTs as the Ts with this counter boost going up Exist. Will get up top, sit with his head down and wait for an opportunity, and as soon as he does that, guess who's coming up to join him? It's Stewie and potentially Skadoodle as well. Hit and bait away. Oh, he's gonna hear that jump. I think Automatic made a noise, and that gives it easily. First headshot. Oh, Skadoodle up close. Lovely return fire, but Pyth in the corner, ready for it. Is able to take him down, and the second, or rather the third, as it were, person on the drop has already faded off of it. They want to go back over toward A. They know there's a presence in mid. A likely is the place that's going to be weakened because of it. That's going to be absent of CTs. Nice shot through the smoke from Get Right. Finds on Shroud. And he wants to get back inside of the site, but Smoke's to his left. He has to hold station in behind box. It's Skadoodle that will get vision of him if the smoke dissolves before he goes any further, but he finds Freiberg first at truck jumping over. Get Right realizes that's his invitation to push through, and it leaves nothing. Low HP, last alive. And what a turnaround from NIP. Nothing's not done though. Good headshot, second as well, but doesn't know where Forrest is. It's the same angle, and 3's a charm. How many one-on-ones is Forrest gonna have to win?
Yeah, you're right. Nothing though, doing some fantastic work there. There's a bit of showmanship from him, spraying the body. That's what graffiti's good for. And waiting to defuse the bomb. Well done by Forrest. Another clutch. I think it's his third or fourth. I haven't been keeping track. I'm going to say third. One-on-one he's won. And there it is. This was a great shot from Skadoodle, though. Just about to see the player jumping up there.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was
That's why
nice.
X-ray off is so much cooler.
Yeah, and this is nothing. With like 10 HP, this second shot was nuts. I thought, okay, when you hit those kind of ones, you think, okay, he's in the zone. He's going to win this, but... Gonna lose him once again. 8 rounds in a row now for the Swedes. All comes in for Skadoodle once again. Maximum loss bonus with the bomb going in. It's gonna mean they certainly have got a lot of money, but still no sniper rifles at all for NIP. They're sticking to this fight rifle mentality and it's working for them, so it does make sense. Winning all the clutches and not relying on the opening picks of those orbs.
Get Right in the corner, dot boosted up, has to be careful because they were spraying into that position. Having an inkling, perhaps, that he was there. Shroud has lost this exchange before. Good shot from Skadoodle. That's a good start. X-Ray is there, but I think that's off the mark slightly and hitting the back of the forklift, even if Pith were to push up. Nade's going to do slight damage onto him. Slight, I mean 12. That's math I can at least handle.
Just about.
Boost again. So after I said there wasn't much mid-presence, they go for another double boost. Skadoodle with op is going to watch toward the smoke, which is now boosted in reverse. This is clever if they can find it. Skadoodle's there with an op, so it's going to have to be a lovely shot. And the smoke's gone!
Oh, lads, come on.
Literally the worst thing you could have done.
Yeah,
the smoke is your invitation. It's also your death as soon as it's gone.
The thing is, he spotted one player towards the boost, and they're thinking, oh, okay, let's commit, don't move, I've got this. And like you said, as long as you're standing in the open there, that's caught your pants down as soon as the smoke's there. You're just standing in the open with a man on your head. And both get mowed down. And finally...
I don't wear pants, so I don't get caught like that.
Yeah, fair enough. That's true, actually. In fact, no one really knows about you. You have to cast with just your underwear on, don't you?
Under the desk. It makes me more comfortable. Slippers as well. Pith will try and make up for that terrible blunder. Does with a jumping mechanism that somehow hits the head of automatic on the way through, but it doesn't matter because Cloud9 closes it 8-7. A string of back and forth affairs. It's 6-0 to start it off.
Yep.
And Cloud9 only end with 7 rounds. Nip get 8 in a row to take the lead and win the half.
So many clutches as well. You'd feel like Cloud9 would have got one of those, but Forrest, so good in this position. Here's the replay. Just overstaying at that point. Smoke goes down. You got a player on your head, you can't move. Just gonna give easy kills for the terrorists there. But 8-7. It's a reasonable scoreline for either side. They'll be fine with that. It's gonna come down to the pistol here. NIP won both pistols on the previous map. Cloud9 picked it up here. That's how they got that 6-0. Interesting initial rounds there. We saw that Mach 10 push from Stewie towards that B-bomb site. Even though he had 10k in the bank. It was kind of cool to see. And then no orbs at all from NIP in that great streak they got. 8 rounds in a row. So the auto sniper popping in and out. But you have 1 minute in between the half here to work out what your pistol round approach is going to be. I'll start dissecting it now as I can see the buys on my screen. 3 sets of armor for NIP on their T side. Freiberg 1 smoke, 2 flashbangs. No upgraded pistols, no dualies, no nonsense like that at the moment. There's going to be 4 sets of armor. Looking towards the CT as well. Very similar situation. 4 sets of armor. Skadoodle as usual. Diffuse kit, a couple of flashbangs this time. No smoke.
No smoke. See how that works. Or doesn't work, fails to work into this round. Freiberg, utility player at this point in time, is already committing inside of A main, so it's not smoke's over. It's not going to be a highway smoke or red crate gap to fork, where Skadoodle's peeking through or peering through right now. But they're not playing the retake game on A either, are they, on the CT side? They want to be aggressive and in position. The kit for Skadoodle. Stewie goes early. Misses 2, misses 3, misses 5, and goes down. Can't land them. Was running out of ammunition to get overwhelmed, as it were. Automatic trying to do what he can from far, but it's all NIP to start it off. Exist tag to 2 is the only thing they've got going for them, and Freiberg pops out to find nothing. This one's going to be a very tall order. I didn't catch where Skadoodle went down either. It was just inside of the side, I think. So Kit's there if they can get that far. It's a tall ask, especially with Pith hitting shots like that.
Very convincing pistol run in there from NIP. Not a single player dropping there. Simple commitment towards the A site. Not going towards the door like Cloud9 did that we had on the main entrance. And one single smoke, couple of flashbangs, like you said. Cloud9 actually opting to play on the bomb site. A lot of teams do go for the retake, normally on the CT side of Cash, but they actually went for the challenge and got mowed down. And it's going to be a second round coming in from NIP. 3 UMPs and AKs, Galils. Pretty standard stuff. 2 rifles, 3 SMGs makes sense. And no force buy from Cloud9. We've discussed this throughout this BO3. Seems like the mentality of both sides now. CD side, no force buy coming in. PD50s, Desert Eagle, no nades, no kits, nothing. Just going to be looking towards the future in that first gun round.
Stewie with the Deagle, wants to get cheeky on the wall. Exist was just to the right of it. Automatic's name has been changed for us again.
Important part of the game. Keep changing it. Distracts them just before you go.
Exactly. Crisscross smokes, you like to explain this?
Yep, so the idea is 2 smokes go in, they cross over each other, and it denies vision from the CTs there. And you can flash and use the Molotov's close range to flush out anyone close, set yourself up for a B split. This time they'll just be using the smoke as a ruse though, as they head in towards A, 2 towards door, and 3 in main. Simple procedure here, don't have to work too hard. Use the Molotovs they have remaining to flush out the key choke points. MBK, quad, the bomb side as well. Treating this like a gun round.
And they know now it's A because they didn't spot anyone going to vents after throwing the crisscross. Tim's pushed up and toward mid. He's a big garage. He could flank, but he's got to be quick to do it because Get Right and Co are already in the site. Get Right with a kill and an assist. Forrest getting the second of which of those kills, and Freiburg will follow it. So Automatic is left alone and maybe just hoping to get exits at this point in time.
Just not really much you can do about this. But NMP, one thing I'll always say about them, they're very good and disciplined at winning those anti-eco situations. It's very rare to see them drop around. And number 2, they did it on Cobblestone, admittedly, but that was a complete horror show overall. It wasn't really NIP playing. But this is very convincing. 5 players staying alive. Like I said, treating it like a gun round, not giving anything away. Every frag is so crucial in Counter-Strike in terms of the economy game. Keeping everyone alive benefits you going forward. You don't have to invest in, obviously, the weaponry and the armor, the grenades. Just keep everyone alive and don't need to overcommit. No real reason to hunt down Tim either, because he hasn't dropped a weapon, he hasn't picked anything up. Just let him keep his PD50, that's absolutely fine. We're going to round number 3 here. 2-0 in favor of NIP. It's 10-7 overall. And nothing really purchased by the CTs, just that leftover PT50 from the second round. I think we have another PT50 joining them as well. A couple of smokes and some flashbangs. That's about all they have to work with here. So NIP more the same. Default, execution, needs the Molotovs, flush down the CTs waiting for you, nail the shots, win the round. It's pretty much how it goes down.
Win the rounds, that's the important aspect of it all. Semantics, fine and dandy. Tim waiting to try and spot down middle. Back to Automatic for us now. I would say it's probably happening automatically. The name change, that is, Henry.
Well, he's using that tactic quite a lot. I'm not sure if it's a controversial tactic. Maybe we'll have to speak to the admins.
Nah, I doubt it. Pith getting towards Squeaky. Has Stewart on the other side of the door and just decides to spray through it.
Wow.
Nails him, down he goes. Skadoodle's got to be careful inside of smoke, trying to find some work and some footing in behind forklift. Can't quite do it. Force them to follow it up. It's a pretty straightforward affair. Shroud from afar will be tagged at truck, down to 12. Nothing's on the flank. Is he going door? He is. So keep an eye on that. Doesn't have a kit, so I wouldn't imagine a ninja to be possible. They're getting aggressive on the chase, but they found him fast enough that they haven't left the site. He might get an exit.
Yeah.
Best case.
Probably a 1-kill here. But with the door closed,
yeah,
there's no real reason for them to go through it, right? He's only got P2000 once again. With NIP not dropping a single kill, they don't necessarily have to go hunting, but they have left the bomb site open.
That's
here.
pretty early.
If he had a kit, this could be possible, you know.
That bomb is planted wide enough, yes. Forrest is seeing it, so that's all fine and dandy. Nothing's going to try it anyway.
At this point,
please.
The thing is, though, right? If he baits a couple of players in and no one goes down, okay. I was going to say, if he can get them towards the bomb and then within the blast radius, maybe he takes a few down with him. That's something, I guess. But Forrest, he knew. He knew his open plant. We couldn't see his POV until the very end there. But it's going to be 11-7, 3-0 obtained by NIP. But the AWP should be coming out for Skadoodle. He gets it. It is going to be glass cannon, meaning he has no armor there. And it's not necessarily a huge deal on Cash. He's normally holding tight angles and working picks. These are a lot more vulnerable to nades, but he'll be holding towards the middle for now. 3 UMPs. This is another bonus round. We explained the concept of that in the first half. And this time it's for NIP. Smokes towards A, nice and quick. And looks like they were committing to this execution as well. Why not? Keep things fast. 2 players make it 3 of our head armor. The UMPs can be very deadly here.
Automatic waiting to swing out, can't quite find it on the first over the shoulder of Exist. He finds Forest and then fails, or excuse me, then volleys into his opponent. Gets both. Goes down and it's smoke dissolved, fire extinguished, and an ability to peek for Stewie. It only works for 1 kill, and it will give a plant to NIP. Well, 11 rounds, but Cloud9 have a man advantage, and they're a little bit hesitant to try and get that bomb in position. Very standard positions for C9 as Skadoodle will play on top of Highway, nothing's down below, and Shroud will all come from the truck. Problem is crossing over for Pith. It leaves Freiburg alone. Didn't really need to cross over there, to be honest. Freiburg was safe in the plant. He could have...
Shine, got a brand new look about.
I've got the power, because we've got the power back, and I fixed it myself, just in case anyone was wondering. It's not absolutely true.
Not absolutely true, no.
We apparently overloaded something, and everything crashed, and my ears got ripped apart, and everyone, I've never seen it, it was like a pack of ants being
It was all going so
trampled
smoothly.
on. It was, and then all of a sudden, you know, and you'd like step on the ant hill, and they all just go running everywhere. That was the production room for a good 5 to 10 minutes, and now we're back. So they're replaying the round. It was a 1 versus 3. Freiburg had bomb planted. Pith had just died coming up from A main, and all things considered, Freiburg would have had to play a perfect round, but as such a scenario that can be disproven and it can be played out a million different ways, just play the whole thing over again. So that's what we do. 11-7 is where we start. Ebot restores from the previous round.
And we are back into it. So, 11-7. NIP were actually 6-0 down at one point, but they fought back and got themselves a decent position after winning the second half pistols, the first gun round. Skadoodle, glass cannon AWP, fast execution, a lot of smokes going towards that A site. UMPs, Galils, and AKs, and we are back into it. Fast play coming towards that A site.
Fast play indeed. Stewie gonna try and use that smoke to his best advantage. Skadoodle's done something quite interesting because he still has to watch mid until nothing gets towards D, but he plays top ticket instead of on top of the catwalk itself. He had slight vision over toward quad, and he's taken advantage of it, but he's changed his position to do so. It's Forest that will go down. So they do go back to A. On the replay of round 19, they get a bomb planted, this time with 3 players still alive versus the 4 retaking from Cloud9. Automatic 24 HP, kit for Shroud. Skadoodle's glass cannon. And it's a hold position at truck until they find a pick. They're getting closer. Automatic, he's about to bypass Skadoodle at the top of the highway, but the Molotov will time perfectly. Pith's forced out, though. Good shot from Shroud. A real chance now to work back into the round. Freiburg goes for a fast peek. 2 in the open, gets 1. Nearly transfers it to 2, but Shroud, he gets the kill in return, and it's Get Right only remaining. He's in behind quad, low HP, gets 1, but he overcommits to the left.
He's got it.
And Automatic gets it, you're right. The bomb's going to detonate. They've got the time down, and NIP will pick up round 12.
Oh, it's going to be so gutting for Cloud9 after getting the first kill there. It's going to be NIP running away with it. Get right. His teammate set him up quite nicely. He's towards quad. The low HP in front of him. He takes one down, and the players remaining didn't have the kits there, so they have to submit and actually lose their weaponry as well. It's going to be an eco here. 12-7, 4-0 in the second half for NIP. And the Krieg's come out map. It's a weapon we've discussed a lot in the past, and seems to be coming more into fashion these days.
Yeah, Majestic Boy bringing it into fashion.
Yeah. Certainly. There was a discussion recently on HLTV, obviously that really good article that they did about the UMP, and they kind of mentioned this weapon as well, saying it's like, has it got a future? The scoped rifles, I think it do. It's only $300 more than an AK, and there's certainly got some benefits to it.
It makes things bigger.
Well, let's see if we can get you one.
Definitely need one, you're right. But I need a lot more than a small scope. I might need the op scope.
Well, then it's going to be
boosted up, has the AK. It's going to try and look towards Z connector. There's no one at sandbags. They haven't really been playing that position at all, but he'll Molotov it. Take no chances. Hear no lies. That's not how that goes. Exist, fires in. That forces automatic back slightly, so very passive positions at this point in time from Cloud9 on their pistols.
Yes, not really much they can work with here. Stewie and Automatic have armor, and there's a smoke for nothing, but they've got 3 players towards B, so we have mentioned in the past, though, that NIP normally very good in these sort of scenarios of being methodical, making sure they're working as a team, using the utility effectively, and so far so good. They pick up the first 2 frags. Pyjamas joining in with both kills there. Automatic doing some work with the Desert Eagle, but there it is, the Krieg actually mowing down 2 players, and it's going to be Skadoodle with no armor and a PT-50 left over. They picked up 1 frag. It looks like that's about as good as it's going to get.
It might be. Skadoodle trying to spray through the smoke and get one more. It's going to back away. Exit kills. And a gun grab would be the best possible scenario. I'm sure he'd love to have forced CWP. Pith making things bigger. Looks toward heaven. Oh, shoulder shown. Get the kill with it. Does. So Pith gets 3 kills on the Krieg.
Yeah. Against the pistols, won't get too crazy just yet. But here comes another buy. 13-7, NIP. If you're just joining us, this is the best of 3. They got absolutely decimated on Cobblestone, right? 16-2. They fought back valiantly on Train. It was 16-6, I believe, in their favor. And now looking to be another very one-sided affair. But we have got a double up set up. No, certainly not over yet, but another fast execution. This seems to be where NIP are going at the moment. They did this a lot on Train. There's these fast step pieces. This one looks to be more of a fake potentially than the same smokes they did in the previous round, but going towards middle. Get right opens things up, and you can see Cloud9 assuming it's the exact same strategy coming in here.
Good shot from Skadoodle to start it. Looks back down to Highway, but Get right and Forrest. Each with kills will open things up. It's nothing with a fast flank out of Pete Forrest. Here's that coming as well. Good awareness takes him down. And Shroud in a 1 versus 4. It's going to put NIP on 14 rounds. It's cash. This is the cash that NIP know, not the one that's haunted them in the past.
That's a really nice call there. So ultimately it's the same tactic, and doing the same smokes ending up towards A, but instead of going main entrance to Squeaky Door this time, they actually boost 3 players up towards middle, go around the highway, and it looks like it's the exact same strategy. So you can see Cloud9 rotating in, trying to get up highway themselves and push through the smokes, and they're getting shot in the back there. And Forrest holding middle once as that's going on, stopping the rotations. Really nice execution there, perfectly done by NIP, and they find the 14-7. The final weapon there from Shroud, not able to be saved, and at this point, I think they have to take the conservative partial by Cloud9 and allow NIP more or less to get to match point this time. This is the 3rd map, and we're still going to have the Krieg here. So a little bit of investment, PT-50, CZ. They are maximum loss bonus, and next round they'll have all the money they need, but it's going to take 8 rounds in a row after this.
Nice nade. Get right landed on 44 HP after. Molotov will clear bags. Exist. Oh, anticipates a flash to come out. He's right. They don't get the transition catch they want. They now do. Forrest will hit automatic as he runs from the sandbags, and nothing forced from the vents. Good shots, Skadoodle, at least something for Cloud9.
Yeah, not much, but something. 2 players towards B. At the moment, we have got some control from up here. You can see Frybug towards Toxic, and Forrest boosted up towards middle. He'll be staying there with the AWP, presumably, and maybe a B split coming in here. And it's going to be Shroud waiting for that B bomb site. Forrest could make his way towards the vents, and nothing still has a smoke, so he'll be using that to lock up a choke point when the final commitment comes in from NIP, presumably towards Checkers.
Shroud, headshot angle, wants to get advantage in his favor, but has to move as they give up Checker. That's taken back as nothing gets a kill, but falls and exists. Steps up for 2. Nice shot from Shroud. He's got to sit in behind box and try and bait out another shot. in a similar fashion. He still has the Krieg of Pith and an AK from Freiburg. It's Stewie he works with and trying to shut them down, but he's smoked off at the tree. And he's hesitant to rotate around and try and get toward Heaven. He's not sure he's got the time when the smoke dissolves. He'd rather catch them on cross. Shroud knows they've not entered the site, so they have not got toward the platform. Stewie now starts to consider it might be over toward A and gets the confirmation it's not. And Shroud does a decent amount of exchange, but takes a decent amount of damage towards Checker. Freiburg does get found by Stewie, though. Good transition. It's onto Pith. It's onto the Krieg.
15 seconds as well. Gonna be tight.
Bomb's over. It's in his hands. Late to scope in. P250 says, forget that. I'm going for the plant. That brings the pistol closer. Way closer, and Stewie's got it.
Well then, Stewie goes all in with the P250 as soon as he has the bomb going down. I thought with 10 seconds remaining and knowing exactly where Stewie was, he'd go for the fake plant there. But it's still 6 of one, half a dozen the other, right? Like you could do that, and he doesn't face, and he loses a round. He went for the plant. Doesn't work out for him. Stewie, nice movement there. Very well executed. Takes the headshot. So a round stolen away from NIP. That was a partial buy, and Shroud there with the lovely 1D action in the back of the site allows Stewie to pick up the round and manage to get the first round of their CT campaign so far. It's going to be 6-1 here in the second half.
And double op setup pulled out on the CT side. Skadoodle and Stewie. Time to get rolling. 14 rounds against them. They've got to be smart. Stewie's going to be at mid, white box. Not typically where you spot the op immediately. Usually it's Z connector, but Skadoodle has his behind quad on A. Shroud and Nothing working together in B. Ooh, Smoke, get right, wants to go. He's known for pushing smokes. He misses the shot. He's known particularly for pushing smokes on B side of Cash, and this time it's going to haunt him. Nothing getting the kill.
5 on 4. Get right. He gets dropped. Nothing really obtained by NOP at this point. 3 players towards mid-warehouse. Freiburg once again holding Toxic, but in terms of control of the map, they don't really have a lot. And they've lost the man advantage as well. It's Nothing to open things up. And it looks like it will be the B play towards Nothing and Shroud. They are actually on the side together, turtled up. And NIP do have a full execution here. They'll smoke towards Heaven, CD spawn, Molotov the site. It's quite a simple one. There's a Molotovs, and it's going to be extinguished straight away by Shroud. Let's see if he can hold them off.
Flash for Shroud, expecting them to be further into the site than they are. So that's gone. Still a smoke to work with. Jumps up too soon. Freiburg gets it, but Nothing's got a lineup. He only manages 1. Freiburg getting 2 kills on entry, much as he needs to do. And Forrest smoking off tree on the way by with the 8WP, positions himself to catch Heaven, but a Molotov lands before he can set to find that exact shot on Skadoodle, but he still gets burned alive. The man that he killed kills him from the grave. And Automatic follows it up. It's on to Freiburg. Bomb was planted, so he's got some ground, but he's got to get inside a Checker before they get in the site. Does. First task covered off, finds the kill, 19 HP. Flash out right away, peeks before the flash detonates, but can't find it. And it stays alive for Cloud9 to pick up another. Now, how's the money on NIP's side? They still have 1 more round.
I actually like that approach there from Freiburg. The problem is the bomb was planted so horribly for him, he had to go for the face. As soon as Automatic gets over the back, full defuse comes in, he can't do anything about it. He right-clicks a flashbang out. The idea is Automatic's going to see that, turn around, and uses that very small window to try and take him down there. And like I said, the plant was bad. That's pretty much the only option he had. Automatic did not take the bait. We'll see a little replay of it. I'm not going to catch it, but you know what I mean. I think I explained it for you. Painted the picture in your mind. 49.
Exist into toward A main. Quick check, but this is going to be a fast execution from NIP. They're already setting for the smokes outside of A main.
Will it be the main entrance one or towards the highway?
It's going to be highway. They're already boosting, so they throw 3 smokes down. 1 to cover red, 1 below behind, 1 at quad. A second one lands for the CTs at A main, but even if they go mid, they get run over by Stewie 2K, finally downed by Exist, who gets bomb back in his possession. But they've got to find 2 kills to bring this back to an even situation, and Nothing's position forward and inside a sunroom is going to cut off any chance of going B, hence why Shroud is sitting back toward tree, making sure they don't push through Z connector, and even if they got that far, they'd have to bypass Skadoodle's AWP, who's primed and ready. No shoulder bait to bring him out yet. That time it will, but he doesn't need to watch that solely on his own. He just needs to know that they have the chance to go up highway, and Automatic can play off of it accordingly.
Not really many options here for NIP. B split. Looking likely Exist waiting by the vents, and Pith making his way towards storage, but like you said, Nothing. Perfect angle, but he does meet the headshot of Pith there. He takes a lot of damage, but at least gives him something to work with. Back towards middle he goes, but Automatic holding there for heals with the storage flank.
Automatic is getting ever closer to that flank as well, as he's already up behind Big Garage. Skadoodle fades off of A because of that information. This is literally the only option they had to get to A for free. And Pith on low HP. Oh, I thought he was going to push toward Truck. He is. He's going to get up close and personal with Skadoodle. It's down to a 2 versus 2. They left the A site too soon on Automatic's call. And unfortunately, he's got to backpedal and go back toward the site for a retake. It could be map point NIP if they can hold it off, and they're going to play this together from quad. What's the nades for the CTs?
Yeah, exactly.
1 nade, and that's going to be a kill, surely. Pith goes down, does 15 HP. Sorted, but Exist hasn't peaked. It's a double stack on quad. They don't know it yet. Exist all missed shots. That was his chance as Shroud slips in to catch him off.
Gotta hit those ones. Like you said, not detected towards quad at all. He peeked, gets gifted a kill on a plate. This can't control the spray, and it's going to be Cloud9 picking up another round, 14-10 now. Bomb gets planted. They did what they could there, to be fair. Like you said, it was Tim coming with the flank call. That A was presumably clear, but they got up highway, sneak towards the side. Piff with low HP. He goes towards the despawn, and it couldn't have worked out better for him. Finds the AWPer, and obviously can only fire 1 shot. That's missed. Doesn't matter what HP you've got. Takes him down. Bomb planted, but they can't hold on. Double orb setup still rolling for Cloud9, and a chance now. I think they're all starting to believe they can do this. 4 rounds in a row to tie things up, though. Still a tall order.
Stewie, slight tag, 95 HP. Forrest is going to hold the angle to make sure they don't push in toward A main. Automatic and Skadoodle setting inside of A. But it's slow, it's tense. This game is very tense. Cloud9, double off again. We'll try and pull back into this. They're holding them off of that magical map point. Bounce nade toward B. That won't catch or go deep enough to catch Get Right and Freiburg, so it doesn't do any damage. Bombs over toward A main entrance as well, so Get Right and Freiburg going together. We criticize Get Right for pushing smokes on his own. He's got Freiburg to go with him, and they find the opening pick. Nothing goes down. Pith immediately going to scoop up the bomb from A main, and back over to B they go because both kills found inside of the site. Stewie's first rotation flash off to slow them. But an AWP, 2 of them in fact, with Skadoodle on the second. What's the call? Stewie's sitting inside CT with Automatic spraying through. Skadoodle's still waiting up toward Truck. They may not even go on this.
Doesn't look like it.
This is going to be a save. They're going to play for overtime. Cloud9's giving this up.
It's been some tight rounds in the previous ones. They've won the last 3, but only keeping 1 or 2 players alive in all of those 3 rounds. So Money's not in a great position. They don't want to risk losing that double orb they've got set up. So it is going to be match point, series point for NIP. 15-10. Clean sweep there. Nothing in Shroud going down towards the B site. And you can see them keeping all 5 players alive here. Not going to be risking the push just yet. They're going to guarantee they're actually going to win the round, and we'll see whether they go on the hunt.
Back away from the site, let the bomb detonate, keep all 5 alive. 8 players surviving the round, but the only team that will get a point for it is NIP, and they'll find the map point at that. So, series point on top of it, because best of 3 that they've clawed back into and have a chance to advance to the playoffs, leaving Cloud9 well out of it, and would leave us without a North American team in the playoff yet again in a North American tournament. 2nd time this year.
Indeed.
There's only been 2 premier level events.
Well then, let's go for the weaponry save here. Now it's going to take 5 rounds in a row to keep their head above water. Very difficult task here. NIP know they can close this one out. Freiburg spams towards mid there, see if anyone's going to that boost position. And it's going to be going towards the boost from the CTs, but for now a full default. No one giving anything away just yet. But Stewie has got quite aggressive here towards B storage of the orb. Trying to get the first pick, something to work with here. Make it a 5 and 4 nice and early, but you can see Get Right very passive towards T-spawn. Perfect flashbang. Pushes them right back.
That works very well. Get Right. Well, we'll rotate around with Exist. Smoke now goes out on top of the big garage. That's where Automatic's watching from mid. Stewie, though, will check his position at B. Smoke down. He's got an op posted. Is he going to keep going? That's the question, because as soon as they're around the corner, he catches them off, so long as they don't jump it. He has to hit a lovely flick. But if he starts to go, he makes himself a much easier angle toward the connection at big garage. Get Right's gone by. He's going to know they're out toward mid. He just needs to sit and hold off B. That gives him support rotation to Automatic by bringing Shroud into the equation. Crisscross smokes down. The one factor of this is if Automatic pushes up and doesn't find Get Right at the vents, he can slip in behind them, but Automatic does exactly that. They now know it's over toward A. Shroud gets further confirmation and rotates even further closer to the A site. Skadoodle at NBK with an AWP has flashes going by him. A lineup for 1. hits it no problem, sees the gun barrel, gets another, somehow dances long enough to stay alive to keep Exist occupied and allow nothing to wrap around, but Forest has solved that. It's 1 versus 2 for Forest, and it's not enough. 15-11, Cloud9 playing for overtime. Thus far, it's worked.
Automata doing a good job there towards middle, pushing that vent position, finds a lurking, get right towards the vent, and like you said, gets the information they're going towards A, throws flashbangs for his team, and allows Skadoodle to set up here for the alley-oop. They're not looking at him whatsoever, and he gets a couple of frags here. Forest left in the 2 versus 1. Didn't realize there was a player beneath him, and he can't pick up the round. They still have a little bit of cash remaining, no orbs this time. It's going to be 5 AK-47s. Forest have no utility whatsoever, so this will be the round that breaks them. If Cloud9 can pick this up, they get a step closer to actually forcing us to overtime here. We said the third map was good. It's certainly gone the distance this time, which is a little bit more interesting.
Nothing with smoke in front of him. He's going to hear the sounds behind him as they wrap into checkers. They've not got all the way through, and a flash in. He actually realizes it's vacant. The flash timing slightly off because Get Right's able to peek with full vision. And it's the one-man advantage for NIP. Freiburg as well inside of B main is working with Exist. And if Get Right drops into the vents, they'll be able to split on the B. Overwhelm Shroud would be the objective. But first, it's Forest sliding out in middle that bypasses Stewie. Checks vents at the wrong time. That'll now make it a 2-man effort coming through the vents to join the 2 inside of B main. And Shroud has it all to do on this site. Smoke's landing toward tree. He knows it. Stewie peeks at the right time before the smoke blooms at the heaven position, and he's able to get one that helps Shroud, who wraps around the boxes, finds one, knows they're inside, takes through a little closer, sprays through, keeps enough bullets to take down Forest, and he's still gonna have time for a reload. Shroud is doing incredible work as he walks out to find Exist. It's not quite enough, but it is still a man advantage.
Oh dear.
And oh, Pith. 20 HP, manages to get the smoke out, but they know exactly where he is. They know he's on the site. He hasn't planted the bomb. And keep that in mind, has not planted the bomb because it's only going to be a 1-round, now 2-round bonus without the $800 injection. And Cloud9 will have a free kick to try and make it 15-13.
We said that was a big round. They lost the early man advantage there, but Stewie stepping up, aggressive back towards B. He finds one kill, and then he saw Shroud doing a fantastic job there after getting a Molotov landing on his feet. He manages to smoke out, and actually, this was the kill, the really important one. Takes down Get Right there, and he stays alive for so long, running out of ammo, gets the reloads in, is buying as much time as he possibly could, and we have the first timeout here for NIP. That's cool. They get us for 2 minutes, and 3 rounds separates Cloud9 for taking us to overtime. No money available for NIP. Second stage loss bonus, they've got around 2,400 average. Get Right a little bit more. So just discussing what's the approach here, if they'll go for a little force buy. I'd say probably definitely not going to have third stage loss bonus next round. We're going to get $2,400 on top of their order, 2K. So take this one as a little PT50 round. Maybe rush B up against a double orb setup. If you can overwhelm that AWPer, maybe something can happen.
Get smokes down if they can, if they elect to buy even that much. Which, right now, during the timeout, they've not committed to anything in that decision, and getting smoke, if you go for the PT50s, is going to put them slightly below the threshold they need.
Yes, indeed.
I might even just say full save, keep Glocks.
Well, to kick things off here on Cash, it was Cloud9 who went 6-0 up on their T side. There was a string of 8 rounds at that point from NIP. Cloud9 picked up the last one. What was interesting from NIP, their CT side, they didn't use the AWP once, which has been a criticism for the tournament.
Weird, yeah.
Only had the auto sniper a couple of rounds, and the rest of it was 5 rifles, which we were saying on Overpass the other day. Probably the best protocol, all things considered. Very proficient with the rifles. You don't have to force one to AWP. If he's not feeling comfortable with it, it's not actually going to benefit anyone. So, swap over. They win the pistol. They get up 6-0 themselves. It's Cloud9 fighting back right now, and that previous round could be one of the most important. Breaks the economy of NIP, gets into a pause, and is questioning where they go with this going forward.
From Exist, in-game leader in his own right, but as you mentioned throughout this weekend with the former rules, Threat has been doing most of that. Threat finally in attendance for an event after a long absence.
It's been an absolute long time since he started coming to these events, and I guess desperate times call for desperate measures. It's been a rough ride the last few months for NIP. Not making the major. Pro League Online season's been abysmal.
Very abysmal, and it seems early to make that call, but we know how cutthroat that league is. So underway we go. Double op setup, as you already mentioned. They do go for effectively the full save. Pith buys one gun. He had the most. I think Get Right had the most. One of the two had the most, so they go for a deagle for Get Right.
Yeah, this could be the rush B as well. Just holding off the initial grenades and flash in through the window probably, or bounce it off the side. Try and overwhelm any AWP that's waiting for them. That'll be Skadoodle, but he's quite defensive. They'll do very well to take him down. He'll get 1 or 2 kills and just wait for his teammates to rotate in.
Flash around the corner. Skadoodle hits the first. Stewie hits the second. Shroud hits another, and they're all dead just like that. They can't do anything about overwhelming the op, as you mentioned. And it's Cloud9 now at 15-13. We'll at least get 29 rounds out of this game. At least.
At least. Maybe overtime. Buy comes in is not amazing for an IP. They get 5 AKs. Only 3 smokes, though. I think Get Right's considering his way into a little bit more residual cash. AK, they bring out a couple of Molotovs now as well. So it's enough to work with. We've done a lot of set pieces early on from NIP, but doesn't look like that'll be the case just yet. Oh, they're doing smokes towards middle, so maybe it is. Stewie going to be pushing through, of course. Oh, it's not a great position with the AWP. High risk. Let's see if he can pull it off. Oh, okay.
Nice shot, Stewie. That is high risk, but he manages to get 1 before going down, so it's still something for them to work with.
Yeah, that benefits NIP tremendously now. The reason we say that is the CD defense has to be spread a little bit thinner. NIP can obviously still group up as a 4-man unit, so that's why it benefits terrorists.
Position from Automatic is perfect. Pith doesn't even consider it. Busts out the vents. He can rotate around as well. Shroud, we know he's up to the task of holding almost solo in most cases. He might be able to get some support, but as I say that, Automatic elects not to go through vents. He knows they have checker room and would be waiting for him, so he would rather strengthen the retake with his teammates. Shroud needs to be careful. They've slipped in. Generator and Freiberg getting him down. Flash back in, completely blind. Nothing's in the open, though, and Exist is able to take it before the smoke in the mid of the site. Prohibits his vision, and Forrest, I got the feeling he was just going to go through that, but Exist needs to get the bomb down. 44 seconds, additional smoke toward tree. Exist could throw the bomb over, but that would, I thought that was a smoke that when it wasn't. Forrest, he just walks out and gets the shot in, sliver of a crack, and hope for Skadoodle. He's got to hold this alive. NIP need to just finish him off, and it's the series done. That's exactly how it goes. And Get Right is very pleased about their playoff berth.
Always a very passionate player. You can see what it means to him in a rough tournament so far, but they bounce back in the best of 3. 2-1 in favour of the Swedes after getting battered at 16-2 on Cobble. They fall back on Train, and they manage to finish the job here on Cash as well. This goes to show, Matt, regardless of the scoreline in that first map, it can't really be indicative of the entire scoreline. They come back on Train and give us a really good showing on Cash as well. So well played by NIP. A little bit gutting for Cloud9 overall, but, you know, some signs of life there. It's been a promising tournament for them.
Promising. I think the biggest sign of life is Skadoodle's form.
Yeah.
I think that's some of the best we've seen from him in a while. Dynamic, fast-paced, able to pick up the rifle at times. Yeah, no, that's a step in. I'm not saying it's back to 2015, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Well then, Freiberg, some big plays from him. He seems to be returning to form. And Threat, like we said, he seems to be influential. The playstyle certainly has changed since the last few tournaments we've seen. You can see they actually focus heavily on the executions of the strategies at the beginning of rounds and have good fakes and just gives decent read on the situation.
That's a smart man. He's very, very sophisticated and disciplined in his thought process and approach to the game. So I think he's definitely worth his weight for them. Confirmation as well now that there will be no North American team in the playoffs for the second Premier level event of 2017, both of which have been on North American soil.
It's a shame because obviously we go to the stadium tomorrow, or the arena, and the NA crowd would love to support a North American team, right?
It's fun. At the major, it was kind of fun because we had a good mix of Astralis VP in the final in terms of fans. I think there's a good chance VP will get some home fare again, but it's always fun to see who the crowd rally behind him for what reason. SK's in there as well. Brazilian, play in the North American League, lots of fans.
Well then, Matthew, I think that's enough from us. Stu has got a winner's interview with NIP.
Exist yesterday, when I talked to Freiberg, he said that he knew that you guys were a better team than C9, that it would be a 2-0, but this series was so back and forth, so much to talk about. It was not an easy series to win at all.
No, it wasn't. I mean, we expected to win Cobble, which they stomped us on, and then we went on to play Train, which they are stronger than us on in everyone's eyes. So yeah, we came out strong on Train and we won that pretty easy. And then on the last map, I think we should have won it earlier. We screwed up there on a force buy, or they actually had like pistols and no armors, and we lost that when we had 14 rounds. But I think we collected ourselves pretty good, and we managed to win in the end. That's all that matters, so we're happy.
Well, I want to dive into this series a little bit more because, as you just mentioned, there was so much that went on, especially Cobblestone, as you mentioned. It was your map choice, but it was your team just got completely shut down. So when something like that happens and you're going into the second map where it's their map choice, what is the team's mindset like, and how do you refocus?
Well, I think what happened on Cobble, like we got good openings in most of the rounds. I think we got like far out on the bomb signs and almost got the plant down. We had some situations we could have won. And then the score would be much closer. So we knew, of course, we can beat them on the next map. So we were confident, and stuff like that happens on the map. You get stomped sometimes, and you just have to forget about it and get better on the second map.
Now, on that last map on Cash, you guys were in the lead, and then towards the end, C9 started to climb back round by round. So when the score was 15-12, I noticed you guys called a timeout. When that happens, what was the team talking about?
We were just figuring out like what's been going good and how they play and how we can counter it. We knew they played passive on B, so we tried to take advantage of that, throwing Molotovs on site and just punishing them on B for playing passive there. That was the whole point of that talk.
Well, now you are moving on into the quarterfinals. Definitely was not an easy road to get there, but now that you are in the top 8, the competition, as always, will get harder. So as the team stands now, how are you feeling?
I mean, obviously, we've been in a big slump recently. I think these 2 wins against Tyloo and Cloud9 now has given us a lot of confidence back. And in the playoffs, it's best of 3. Anything can happen, and I don't really care who we play. We can bring anyone down.
All right, well, we hope to see some Nip magic later on at this event, but for now, let's head back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Sue there, getting a good word in with Exist, saying that he's ready for anyone in those playoffs as they do secure their spot in a full 3 maps. And what an affair that was. I mean, in Exist's words himself, he thought we were going to win Cobble, and then we got destroyed on it. And a destruction it was. I think it's best to reintroduce the panel as well to be talking through this one. Duncan Thor in Shields residing alongside Chad Birchill and, of course, Jenko Paunovic. Okay, let's try and go in chronological order with our discussion, if it's possible. Just to quickly remind everyone that, yes, we did see that Cobblestone to start. It was an intriguing way to kick off with a bang. I mean, I went away just to quickly go ahead and get some fresh air, come back. 10 rounds are on the board to Cloud9. What happened there, Chad? Yeah,
well, we were talking about in the pregame about how Scudo needed to be utilized better as an AWPer, and I think he was very effective on that map, especially moving him over to the A bomb site. He was a lot more versatile. He's able to go aggressive picks, and then he has multiple lines to drop back to as an AWPer. Yeah. And he had some really good stats on that map, and it's good to see when a player who gets criticized or is usually at the bottom of the scoreboard is able to contribute so heavily. But in a 16-2, it's just a stomp. What can you say?
A 16-2 in an NIP versus Cloud9 matchup, Jenko, it did feel like, I mean, NIP were kind of absent throughout.
You feel like if it's ever going to happen, it's going to be in NIP's favor, right? Right. But I think NIP, uncharacteristically enough, especially with the fact that Threat is here with them, they were very, very slow to adjust on all maps pretty much, except maybe for Cash in the end, because on that Cobblestone, I mean, they were going for that slow default play, taking map control, using their utility, but C9, except for Ska being aggressive in the beginning maybe a little bit, they were just playing super passive and saving their nades, and NIP would go into an execute with not all of their utility left, and then you had a number of rounds where Stewie, for example, was in Chikiku with the AWP, didn't have a smoke or Molotov to clear that position, he was just reigning supreme, so really good reads and setups and positioning just from Cloud9 in that Cobblestone game.
So I guess if Cobblestone is an open and shut case, Train is something very different, right? Exist suggesting we thought they're the better team on it, and it did seem like the Forest and Get Right story.
He very carefully did say other people thought they were better on this. You have to understand, listen, you'll never pierce that delusion of his mind that they're good on every map. No, the thing that was interesting here is this is actually one of the classic qualities that NIP's always had, which is the idea that, like Virtus Pro, they can reset between maps, you know. Yes. This wasn't a best of one. If it was best of one, yeah, they'd given up completely. They looked very scared in that first map. But you give them the break, and you give them a time. The key thing is they won the pistol there, so a bit of breathing room on the T side. That gave them a chance to come alive. You know, you're not just going to get 2 maps in a row when it just does nothing, rolls over and dies, you know. So for the guys from Cloud9, they needed to show a bit of that resilience themselves going into the 3rd map.
Interesting. Chad, I mean, Train, seeing Cloud9 throw that one away, was there anything that kind of particularly stood out to you other than Stewie shooting people's toes through a train?
Oh, that was fun.
That was cool.
There's something that the way that Nip were able to approach Train that they couldn't do on Cobble on the T side. They were able to do their set executes quite heavily, and they were able to keep doing that set execute on the inside bomb side. They're even doing full executes on their anti-ecos. They weren't taking any risks, and they weren't able to get away with the same kind of treatment on Cobble because, like Yanko was saying, they couldn't get to the point to execute. I don't know if that style is the best. I think you want a mixture between like executes and being able to be a bit more free. We saw that more on Cache. But I think going forward, they need to use Threat as somebody who's like the dad figure, who's like, hey, I'm watching you guys, you need to do the right thing. But at the same time, allow them a little bit of slack on that leash.
I mean, it feels like Threat is rusty as well. Maybe not being used to traveling with the team on tournaments, because this is a way different NIP we're seeing now than when Threat was with them at tournaments in early 2016, right? Not as much discipline as you would expect. As I said, pretty slow to adjust, which you would feel like is not going to happen when they have him standing behind the team.
Wasn't that previously something that we would praise them on, is the swiftness of their adjustments, right? As in, from round to round, they would have solved these problems quite quickly.
To an extent, they were a bit one-dimensional as a team because they did, rework their whole game, so it took time to get good at that new style. But for sure, it was better when he was with them early in 2016.
Some praise to Threat, previous Threat. Let me try and get the words out.
The new old Threat.
Let's not start that again. Yanko, we do have some opportunities for you to go ahead and break down some plays. First 2 maps are available. I'm sure you'll be able to do something with that.
Okay, then I'll go for Train, Alex, because Cobble was a stomp, and there wasn't that much to show. But we have something to show on Train, and it's about all the adjustment that we were basically talking about. So map 1, map 2, I have like a nice little board here. I didn't even know that until I got here. So this is like NIP had a 4-0 lead, and you could see how they're basically after that Cloud9 started coming back. So the problem here is that NIP was taking a lot of time pretty much in their executes, which in turn just meant that Cloud9 could save their utility for as long as they wanted, and when the execute would actually come in, NIP couldn't properly execute. They couldn't go out of choke points because the Molotovs would be, for example, when they wanted to do a 3-2 split, you would have a Molotov here in ladder room or Molotov in mid, and NIP was throwing the smokes deep. But by the time the Molotovs from Cloud9 pass, or the incendiaries rather, it would be too late for them to actually get towards the site. The smokes would dissipate and they would basically just get wrecked. So for some reason, I have either gotten the wrong round, because this seems to be a faster execute from NIP, or I miscalculated something.
But more discipline.
But you can see a round where NIP does try to switch things up. They only have Tech 9s and they still lose. So just remember the drawing part. Forget the round. Mistakes happen. What can I say?
Mistakes were made.
Do we have another round?
Yeah, you want to try again?
I have it on my phone. I can't remember which round.
Oh, damn.
So
ready for the comeback?
It's 4 something.
Okay.
Take a gamble.
4-0. Let's see.
Oh,
it can't be 4-0 though, because it had to be. But it's a good example, right? Because at this point, 4-2.
Oh, this looks good. I've got a good feeling about 4-2.
No. 4-1.
4-1.
No. They need more incendiaries. There we go.
He's got it.
So fast forward here, you see that it's 30 seconds left. Everybody's still alive, right? You can see that they've still had some incendiaries that they've thrown. Round starts. Smokes are here. You can see the smokes are dissipating on the timers already. And by the time they push, they just get shredded. So it was actually 4-3, not 4-4. Missed it by a round. So sorry about that one, boys. But
all good. We got there in the end, and that's what's important. So with that said, and when we see Cloud9's departure from DreamHack Masters, we have to kind of reflect upon what we have learned from this best of 3. And a long one for sure, Duncan. But what are we taking away from this one? Seeing NIP go down a map, bounce back, a degree of resilience shown. What are we thinking?
Yeah, it still wasn't that convincing from NIP, I think. Like, I mean, in a sense, I guess it's good to win the opponent's map. Like, I would have said Train's one of the weaker maps for them, but Cloud9 themselves didn't play so great in the series. I think this was a real dogfight, actually. I didn't think anyone played like at a high level and made the other one go to the highlight. It was a lot of real, like, confused rounds. And so it's still hard to feel like NIP is going to go much further in this tournament. Obviously, they're hoping they get like a mouse sports or something like that in the first round, then maybe they got a chance. Sure. But like if NIP has to play, someone like Astralis, it's going to be real tough going at this point in time, I think.
Do you mirror a lot of those sentiments there, Chad?
Yeah, I think it's good they got a win. Like they said in the post-game interview, the confidence might help them. Forest had some good players. Garrett had some good players. That's what you want to see. But I'm taking more positives for Cloud9. This is more of like the Cloud9 that we saw back in Pro League when they won it. They need to find out how to... The way that I think they're... effective on the CT side is by aggression and then dropping back. They need to find out how to just be able to hold normally and not need those, not gimmicky plays, but those aggressive plays to buoy their game. Or buoy their game. Buoy?
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 Boo them. Boo their game.
Boo hiss?
Grammar with that CSGO and analyst panel.
It doesn't help.
Buoy.
We've had
don't think I've ever used that word in my life.
I think it is said as...
Have a lot of them in Australia.
We'll see.
Well, moving away from flotation devices and just getting your closing thoughts from you, Yanko, before we do start looking at the groups.
I mean, I expected NIP to win and I expected them to play much better, but they didn't play that much better, right? They did win the game, so I'm not sure what the issue is at this point. Are they still slow to get fired up in this tournament? We'll have to see in the playoffs, but if they don't up their game, they're not going to have a fun time when we move to the arena.
And when you look at the teams that they could likely face, I mean, you mentioned Mouse, but you're right, Astralis, Gambit and SK, all of them, they're very capable of throwing the knockout punch for sure. We should bring up the groups though, just to remind everyone how this did get to this situation. Cloud9 are eliminated from the group alongside Tyloo, as Ninjas in Pyjamas and SK Gaming will keep their heads above water and have a chance to perform in the Grand Garden Arena this weekend. Into Group D though, which is where we're having our next bout, it will be FaZe taking on Na'Vi for the last available spot in the playoffs. Will Na'Vi fall alongside Cloud9, or will we see them rise from what has been a rather poor performance so far at the Masters? It's going to be really interesting to see if the individuals that our desk previously outlined as being key components do show up today here in Vegas. We should probably leave it there though. We are going to take a break, and when we do return, it will be our final best of 3 of the day. Strap yourselves in, get some snacks, and get ready for more fantastic Counter-Strike right after this.
Coming up on DreamHack Masters, Na'Vi versus FaZe Clan.